Alright, so I am still on the road making a video here. We are intraday. We're looking at the SPY. So it is the 28th, right? So it's Wednesday. Very exciting stuff going on here. Still bearish across the board. Nothing's changed. We're just going to make another video here. So right now, intraday, we're at low of day, looking at the SPY. To me, this is still sideways action, right? It's still not confirmed to the downside or the upside. It's sideways in the middle of sort of no man's land support for the SPY. I should really be judging everything on the Nasdaq. I think the Nasdaq is really leading the way, even though the Dow Jones is weaker. We'll get to that. But for the SPY, I am bearish. Okay, not very bearish yet because we haven't taken out key support. But it's better to be bearish before we get there because I want to be a contrarian in general. But to me, we are still going lower. So let's look at the Nasdaq because the SPY really, like I said, is in no man's land. Let's look at the Nasdaq. It's a lot more exciting. Look at this. This is beautiful. So ascending support. Obviously, I covered this. We hit the ascending support, bounced very nicely, but I remain bearish, and bearish it was, and it still is. Look at that. Low of day at the moment. We've taken out the lows here. We're going towards secondary support. This is really the last stand before the all-time low, if I can call it all-time low. Obviously, it's not historically speaking, but the low for since the bear market started. So I do expect us to bounce a little bit there. I don't think we're going to go to new lows before 2023. Normally, this period is a bit bullish. Normally, you don't have enough volume to do a crazy move, but so far, I think the markets are bearish enough to hit secondary support. So we might get there today, but I do expect us not to make new all-time lows until the end of the year. That's not asking much because we're almost there. Tesla. We'll get to that in a second, but that's also okay. It's a little more powerful today than it was recently because it's just been charging down. We'll get to that. Tesla generally is a buy at the moment, but you can get it even cheaper, maybe close to 100, maybe even below 100. We'll get to that. The Dow Jones has been stronger recently. Obviously, this crazy move up, it's been very strong. It's outperformed everything, but today it hit its resistance. I said this was resistance. It hit it, and now we're going back down. Nowhere near bearish yet, technically, but I'm bearish anyway because it's way too high and fundamentally I'm bearish. Russell 2000, a bit like the Nas, actually more like the SPY here in the middle of no man's land between two levels of support. Like I said before, I think the Nasdaq set the support for all the indices off that ascending support, and then as it went down, everything else got more bearish too. So what do I think? I think the Russell will not really close below this level at 170. Let's call it 170.5. This candle here, this hammer attempt. So we're at low of day today right now, so it looks very bearish. Who knows? It could bounce a little bit and close not as bearish as it looks now. But to me, it's and by the way, the VIX, what the hell is it doing there? It should be way higher. It's broken. I really don't think I'll cover the VIX anymore because it's a buy now and it should be way higher. So but yeah, for the Russell 2000, I think we will make our way down here eventually, right? I don't know if we'll get there before 2022 is over. But to me, everything counts. Everything depends on the Nasdaq. The tech stocks are getting destroyed. Tesla has been absolutely obliterated. I mean, I thought it could go lower, but right now it's gone way lower than I thought it would. It did its gap fill at 137. The amount I'm talking about, I should really cover it right now. But the reason I bring it up now is because it's really I don't want to say it's the only stock leading the Nasdaq lower, but it's a big stock. It's been getting flushed non-stop, and you've got all these people now who are joining short at the wrong time. To me, this is when you go long. But I do think the markets will go lower, so I can't see Tesla doing too much of a move up as the Nasdaq generally goes lower. I do think it could bounce here, therefore sending Tesla higher. So just watch this. We're there, right? I mean, if it moved up now, I would say that it touched it. So we've hit the second last level of support in the Nasdaq. So for me, markets are bearish. Remember a few weeks ago, not even three, we were all the way up here and looking for breakouts and all this. I was bearish. It did go higher than I thought, especially the Dow Jones. But look, we've come a long way down since then. Maybe not on the Dow Jones, but everywhere else. So for me, markets are bearish fundamentally, and technically they are also bearish. Everything except the Dow Jones, maybe. Let's look at yields. Not the craziest day in yields for yields today, but 1 year hitting its head. It's going to break out higher. It is. The 2 year is broken out of its descending. It was the weakest one out of the other long dated yields, but it's broken out. I think we go sideways up, just like the 1 year. The 1 year will go up to new highs very soon. 5 year, look at that, broke out a long time ago. We noticed that this level here, call it 4%, is going to be a bit resistance. We will soon break out of that and reach old highs. 10 year, we've already kind of, we're there. I mean, the descending support, and the 10 year is the most important, 10 and 2, but the 10 year, we're basically there hitting the old highs, which coincides with the descending. So for me, if I just take this and place this there, that's basically the last level of resistance until we touch old highs. The 30 year, it makes sense. We've got a little bit more to go. I'll just move this here. I'm on the road. I don't have all the appliances to do things quickly. So yeah, I think those are really the levels. No point in having this anymore there. So I'm looking for a break. I'm looking for all-time highs in all yields. Obviously the 1 year will do it before the 30, but I think you get the gist. And also, if we look at the German 10 year, we're there at all, old highs. You know what happens next, sideways up. Look at the Italian, just 1 or 2 days away from hitting it, and then sideways up. The British, obviously, they're nowhere near as close to their old highs because of this massive political, what was it, the pension funds. We're gonna do lots of, we're gonna save money, we're gonna pay down the debt. It was all trash. It'll go all the way back up, believe me. So yields up, markets down. Let's look at DXY. This is just, I've said it already, right? This everything's drawn. Nothing to say here. We're looking for a breakout of this, bit like yields did, and then a move up here. It's going to take a while for the DXY to test all highs, and you know what? It might not make old highs. I think as markets go lower, as yields go up, yeah, the dollar will do its thing and go up. But it takes a lot for the DXY to go all the way up here, which I think it will pretty quickly actually. But then it's got to go all the way up there. Then it's got to take this descending line out, which will probably take some time, and go all the way up and test old highs, and then go higher than that to 120. You know, and let's just zoom out to remember 120 all the way up here. I don't think it's going to make it because by then the markets will have made a major move lower. And you know what? Fundamentally, the dollar doesn't deserve to go that high. I mean, we've all heard of the dollar milkshake theory, I think, but I just think what it will take for the dollar to go all the way to 120 is just asking a bit too much. So I think it will make a big move up. The markets will move down, the yields will go up. But by the time it's sort of here testing all highs, something will happen. Whether it's the Fed pivot, whether it's some other central bank acquiescing, I don't know what it'll be, but it's just asking a bit too much. So although I'm bullish on the dollar and yields, and I'm bearish on the markets, the old sort of combo, I just think it's asking too much for the dollar. So I'm not ultra bullish on the dollar. I'll just stay medium bullish. Let's go to gold and silver very quickly. So that's also why I'm bullish long term on gold and silver. Even if the dollar was to go all the way up to 120, I'd still stay bullish. But now, and gold and silver has been doing very well yesterday, but they've basically given it all back perfectly, right? And I think I've drawn a few tram lines here, the pennants. You can see I haven't touched anything. I've been on the road literally. I'm in the middle of London right now on a bed, so I haven't had the time to be all pretty with my lines. So basically everything I've drawn, and you can check my old videos, but they're still where they were. I do think we're just going to do this move. So I'm not changing anything. This will break, and this is a bearish pennant, right? It's just asking too much to go all the way up and then scream even higher after this move whilst markets are going lower, yields going up. It's too much. So this is good to remember, you know, gold and silver very bullish long term, but I think if and when, if I can be arrogant enough to say when we move back down, I don't know if we'll go all the way down here. Remember, gold and silver are relatively bullish, so remember to buy those when and if we get down here and hopefully down here. I'll be buying here because just in case the markets, the gold and silver markets are strong enough to rally from here all the way up. You don't want to miss this. You don't want to get too greedy on the way down. So for me, this I will leave where it is. I think that's what's going to happen, especially given yields going up, dollar breaking out soon to follow the yields in the same sort of pattern. and markets going lower, I think that will take gold and silver back down in the old combo pattern. So that's gold, that's silver, very strong, but again, it will move lower. I'll leave this exactly where it is. It's all perfect. Just gotta maybe move it to the right because of the time element. And finally, miners weaker than the metals. Very strong yesterday, especially GDXJ that was touching old highs. Look at that, beautiful. I was very upset about it because I've already sold enough up here, so I didn't touch anything yesterday. But today, giving it all back and some. Look at that, -4%. Very nice to see. So I think we'll go back down here before the metals, obviously, because we lead the way up and then we lead the way down, and they're generally following the markets more than the metal, if I can say that. You know what I mean? So, remember where the SPY and the Nasdaq and the Russell 2000 is all the way back down, even below, sorry, even below their ascending support. So the miners, the gold and silver space is totally outperforming. Remember that when we get back down, I'll be buying here, I'll be buying there, unless I see something catastrophic coming. I might wait down here and be extra greedy. But I'm absolutely loving it. I'm loving being on holiday and having the patience and the discipline to not touch anything because ultimately the pattern plays out. So very nice to see. And I'll keep it short and sweet. So watch out generally. I think everything is going lower except yields and the dollar. And normally I would say the VIX, but the VIX is kind of broken. But yes, the VIX should also go up. And I'll finally finish on my two favorite catastrophes. Credit Suisse. Look at this horrible looking chart. It's beautiful. I'm looking for that $3 close below $3 and see you later. Put a fork in it. And we'll see what happens to the banking sector. If there's some domino financial crisis, that will really destroy markets even more. 2008 style, because it wouldn't be just a recession and inflation, it'll be a financial crisis. It's just literally all we're missing is an asteroid hit. And I will also look at Tesla, which has been filleted in the face. Look at this. I mean, I thought, quickly zoom out, I thought this 138 would be a nice gap fill, and I was surprised to see it hit that, and it was quite quick. But I did also know that the markets would go down, and I just didn't think Tesla would lead the markets even lower. I thought maybe the markets would go down on its own, and Tesla would have to follow, kicking and screaming. And I thought Tesla would outperform as the markets go down, but actually Tesla was underperforming and almost leading the markets lower. So now, where do I think we go? I think it's a buy where it is. When I zoom out here, it looks like it can go lower, but you've got to really uh, sorry, when I zoom in, it looks like it can go lower, but you've got to zoom out to see that it really has crumbled a bit too much, a bit too quickly. I think it's a buy where it is. I mean, you can see it's green on a red day. At least it's red at the moment. That suggests outperformance. I think the RSI is 17 or something. I'll have to look at stockcharts.com to see that. Let's look at the MACD and the RSI. That's helpful for a daily intraday buy. But generally, this target I've had here for a while, I think, but this was the last emergency buy. So for me, it's close enough. But I also think markets go lower. But if you're looking to create a position in Tesla, do it. And for me, honestly, it's I need to reposition it so that when I go home, for me, it's the number one buy in the market. I also like Paramount, DocuSigns, and Zoom, and PayPal. The others become a bit more risky. Um, so you know what? I'm going to untick these. They're just good trashy stocks to look at and as a day trade. But these are my, I can call them blue chip um, buy and holds if I think the market's going to turn. But Tesla is just so oversold that it's a buy now. It's a buy if it goes lower. If it hits 100, who knows? It could flush 100 and maybe even get down here. I was thinking 92. But I mean, I've got to just make a little, note about that. Tesla, incredible. Anyway, that'll do. Hope you enjoyed. Good luck out there, and let's see how things develop. But otherwise, Merry Christmas and all that stuff.